hopefully the others join us soon. And if they have any problem, cannot come, inform them that this PDF is sharing in your WhatsApp group, can be received in the future by Dawn, and they can hear whatever I explain by recorded lecture. In the name of God. If you remember, last lecture, we start talking about toxins, and we explained that toxins are poisonous substances which are produced by different types of microbes. One group of microbes which can produce toxins are bacteria. Most of the lectures during this semester was related to the bacterial toxins, like the toxin related to the Clostridium tetani, Clostridium botulinum, Corynebacterium, diphtheria, and the others. Some toxins, it is what we explained. We want to review and going to the new one. Some toxins are produced by fungi, so we call them mycotoxins. Mycotoxins. Myco means fungi, and toxin means poisonous substance. Poisonous substances which are produced by fungi. We call them mycotoxins. Some toxins are produced by algae. We call them phycotoxins. Phycotoxins. Some toxins are produced by plants. We call them phytotoxins. Some toxins are produced by animals. We call them zootoxins. So, what is the similarity between these different types of toxins? All of these poisonous substances are produced by a live organism. Some are microorganisms and some are macroorganisms. Like plants and animals are macroorganisms, and bacteria, fungi, and most of algae are microorganisms. We finished bacteria. Today, our aim is to talk more about mycotoxins, especially about those mycotoxins which are effective on our body, to see how they come to our body and what do they do. Which type of poisonous happening to our body. Last time, we had a few minutes talking about mushroom toxins, because mushrooms some people use in their foods, in pizza or another foods, and if it is contaminated by mycotoxins, can be dangerous as a food poisoning. And we introduce you different types of mushroom poisoning. Now we want to follow the matter with mycotoxins. So, mycotoxins produced by molds that infest peanuts, corn, wheat, rice, tree nuts, dairy products, and other agricultural plants. Most of what we see here, they are our foods. So some fungi can live on our foods and make them contaminated with their toxins. So after eating, by digestion, these contaminated foods with mycotoxins, we can see the effect of those toxins on our cells, tissue, organs, and our body. Mycotoxins produced primarily by members of the genus of Aspergillus. Aspergillus is not the only fungus with the ability of production of mycotoxin, but it is a typical fungus which can produce some types of toxins. Mycotoxins are produced by fungi, and fungi grow well in tropical and subtropical areas, especially those areas which the climate is humid. So, climate, temperature, and humidity are the important factors which needed by different fungi. Sometimes in the cities, which they are very close to the ocean or Persian Gulf or Oman Sea or another places, or some cities which are very close to humid place near the river, you can smell the fungus odor, and sometimes you can smell the spores of the fungus which they live in our home. So those homes and apartments which are located in humid climates, in tropical and subtropical areas, must clean their homes more than the other people in other parts of the country. Because after a few minutes, we explain that some toxins are present in our food and some toxins are present in the spore. And spores are floating in the air. So mycotoxins can come to our body, foodborne and airborne. By food and by air can make us infected with these poisonous substances. So exposure can occur from the consumption of contaminated food. Chronic exposure means for a long time. For example, suppose you buy a cereal or a food or a milk which is contaminated with mycotoxin, and it is repeated every day, every week, and every month. So if there is a chronic exposure to a toxin such as one of the important toxins is aflatoxin, has been associated with a specific form of liver cancer. Because you know, all blood go through the liver, and liver is look like a filter for blood. So if any poisonous substances is there, the tissue of liver is mostly be in contact with the poison, so it is very close to infected and going through cancer. So it shows these poisonous substances can be effective on the DNA and chromosomes, and the DNA and chromosomes of cells which they are mostly affected. Liver is mostly affected by mycotoxins, and liver cancer is the most probable than the other problems. Molds and mycotoxins. Molds multiply quickly. So if temperature is okay, if humidity is okay, molds or fungi multiply quickly. As they multiply, they produce, they release their mycotoxins. And mycotoxins are secondary metabolites of molds and are very potent, powerful protein synthesis inhibitors. So one of the organelles, one of the places which mycotoxins are effective, it is mitochondria. You know, mitochondria is the place for oxidative phosphorylation. It means oxygen in mitochondria in electron transport chain is as the final acceptor, final electron acceptor. Okay, and accordingly, those NADH2 and FADH2 which are produced in Krebs or citric acid cycle are produced, are going there. Why? Because NADH2 and FADH2 have energy, but they are not currency energy. They should go to the mitochondria and changing to the currency energy ATP. So in mitochondria, in electron transport chain, by help of oxygen, NADH2 changing to 3-ATP, and FADH2 changing to 2-ATP. And the ATP is necessary for cells to do their jobs. Any cells in any tissues and any organs for doing anything need energy. Brain cells without energy don't work. Heart cells without energy don't work. So these mycotoxins stop energy production. And without energy, most parts of the body, as much as they are important, showing their malfunctions. Not normal duty is continued. And maybe if the toxin is high in quantity, can be life-threatening. In addition, molds produce 1,3-alpha-D-glucans, extracellular polysaccharides, and solvents, and the others. And some synergistically help the effect of mycotoxins. Mycotoxin is not only one toxin. There are a variety of different mycotoxins are produced by different fungi or molds. Like what? Like aflatoxins, ochratoxins, zearalenone, T2, HT2 toxin, deoxynivalenol, fumonizins, citrinin, patolin, ergot alkaloid. So here you can hear different types of mycotoxins which are produced by different types of fungi or molds. Primary groups of mycotoxins in various food products, and these mycotoxins are produced in different foods before eating. So they are foodborne infection. They are the fungal products which can come to our body by help of eating contaminated food. Killing mycotoxins. Killing mycotoxins. So mycotoxins name have two parts. Mycotoxin. Toxin is not a good name. Toxin means poisonous substance. Poisonous substance can inhibit or kill most live cells of human, of animals, or any living things. Sometimes maybe you think there is no problem. When I buy, for example, milk, I boil it. When I buy a flour of wheat flour, we make it in heating, in high temperature, but it is obvious that many toxins are very resistant against heat. For example, some mycotoxins takes heat at 260 degrees centigrade for 30 minutes or 482 degrees centigrade for 10 minutes to destroy trichotessan mycotoxin. So trichotessan mycotoxin is an example. If it is present in the food more than 30 minutes with temperature more than 260 degrees centigrade is necessary to destroy it. If not, it is present there. And by consumption food, by eating food, it comes to our body and start to make problems. Sometimes maybe thinking about filtration because too much heating destroy the useless parts of the food. One of the best filters is HEPA filter. But HEPA filters are ineffective. It is useless in removing mycotoxins because mycotoxins are too small to filter by HEPA. But if there is activated carbon filters, can remove mycotoxins from ambient air. So regarding to air, HEPA filter is not sufficient, but activated carbon filters can remove it. How much is the size of mycotoxins? So very easily can go through the HEPA filter. You know, HEPA filter is used in many places for culturing the microbes. Size matters. Hair is 100 microns. Spores are 1 to 20 microns. And mycotoxins are 0.1 micron. So we can understand they are very small in size. Exposure to mycotoxins is by ingestion, inhalation, and dermal absorption. So there are three ways for coming these mycotoxins to our body. Some mycotoxins are produced by fungi in our food before eating. Then we eat contaminated food containing mycotoxin. So it is ingestion. Inhalation, most fungi which produce mycotoxins, their spores also contain mycotoxins, and their spores are floating in the air. Their spores are floating in the air. So during breathing, during inhalation, those spores very easily can come to our lungs and then releasing their toxins, their mycotoxins, and then they penetrate to our body and showing their toxic effects. On the other hand, if our skin go to contact to foods or materials containing mycotoxins, can absorb the mycotoxins. For example, suppose you take a corn or maize in your hand, maize fruit in your hand containing spores of a fungus, which it contains mycotoxins. These mycotoxins can absorb to the skin of your body. Medical and scientific facts. Spores of toxigenic fungi contain mycotoxins. So not only vegetative form of fungus contain mycotoxin, but also spores of fungi contain mycotoxins. Mycotoxins associated with spores are likely to be absorbed via the respiratory epithelium and translocated to the other sites, producing systemic effects. So they can reach to blood, and according to the blood, can reach to different tissues, different parts of the body. In this image, you can see that not only there are different types of mycotoxins, but also they have different shape, different names, different size. And accordingly, different mode of actions, different parts of effectiveness on human or animal cells. Molecular structures of mycotoxins vary widely. Molecular structure, thereby causing variable effects on livestock, domestic animals, and poultry, those birds which we have them as our food. So this mycotoxins not only has effective on our cells of human, but also they have many effects on animals, domestic animals. So as much as possible, when we buy food, for example, rice, wheat, or flours, if we can see any growth of fungi, we don't eat. But some people which they work in agriculture or they work with domestic animals, maybe see those plants are infected, but according economic thinking, give the contaminated plant to the cow or to the livestock or to the poultry. So when they eat the contaminated food with mycotoxins, then we eat those ones or we drink their milks, and these toxins transfer to our body. So this variability in the structure also presents a challenge when identifying solution to sequester mycotoxins. So if you remember in advanced bacteriology or another lectures, I explained you first, before defend against enemy, which our enemies are bacteria, pathogenic fungi, and their toxins, before defend, it is necessary to know their structure, to know their mode of action, and after that we can have a program for defend. Okay, without knowledge, defend is not effectiveness. So here you can see some mycotoxins. Aflatoxin is very important toxin which infect human and livestock and is present in many cereals. Deoxynivalenol or DON, T2 toxin, and fumonisin P1, as well as zearalenone. You can see how much they are different from one to the other. They are very different. Here, for example, you can see one corn which it is infected with fungi. Here we can see it is infected with Aspergillus green area. This green area is Aspergillus, and this white one is Fusarium. So Fusarium and Aspergillus grow on this plant. If there is little, so we cannot understand and we eat it. And if it is continuously done, eating small, so after some time it is effectiveness on our body, bad effect on our body. But some people which have animals, cows or the others, when using whatever remaining from plants, if they are infected with mold, they are not allowed to give these types of material as food to those domestic animals. Mycotoxins can be extremely harmful to humans and animals. So mycotoxins not only have bad effect on human, but also have bad effect on animals also. So we can be infected by mycotoxins directly when we eat cereals or corn or whatever else which are infected with toxin, or we can contaminate it indirectly when we eat milk or meat of an contaminated animal. They are known to disrupt the synthesis of DNA and RNA and protein. So when these toxins come to our body, when reaching to any cells of the body, stopping the replication, the synthesis of DNA, the RNA, especially mRNA, and when there is no mRNA, there is no protein synthesis also, and can impair animal health. Human health and animal health is in danger, even causing death. The metabolites can be passed through animal products such as milk. So if there is not sufficient heating during pasteurization or sterilization, those toxins will be present till the time of consumption by human. Mycotoxins can also have a severe economic impact. So when the agricultural products after harvesting are infected, are contaminated, so it is economic impact. Problem for those producer, agriculture people, and it is problem when most of or some of the products are in the market is more. They reduce the crop value from the restricted use of contaminated grain and are a case of rejection of unacceptable dry distillers grain. So after harvesting, grains are transported from fields to the village, to the cities, or to the another countries. In another countries, they check it. If it is contaminated, reject it back. And in the country, the people which has responsibility to check it should do it in a proper way, because it depends on the health of the people. And one person, after many years of eating such a contaminated food, may go through cancer and lose its health. Harvest, moisture, and handling can also influence grain infection. Higher grain moisture, improper storage, and damaged kernels can increase the likelihood of mycotoxins in the grain. As much as humidity and water in the food is more, the activity of fungus is more also. As much as it is more active, production of mycotoxin is more. Identifying mycotoxins. Some toxins are more common than the others. So some fungi are more present in different products, and accordingly, those ones produce mycotoxins more than the others. Some toxins are more common than others, varying significantly in acceptable thresholds and in their impact on animals that consume contaminated grain. The most frequent toxins, which many times I informed you, and especially present in corn, are aflatoxin, fuminosin, DON, ZEN, and T2 toxin. To choose the most efficient management tools, start by knowing how to identify the differences between these 5 mycotoxins, which can grow on maize or corn. Again, remind you that the most important toxin in most cereals is aflatoxin, and it is produced by Aspergillus flavus, Aspergillus parasiticus. Aflatoxin. Identified by yellow-green spore masses. When we look on a corn, if there are yellow-green spore masses, the most probable it is related to the Aspergillus, which they can produce aflatoxin. Concern to both human and animal health, making it the most concerning mycotoxin. So the most concerning mycotoxin is aflatoxin, a known carcinogen. So when it comes to the body of human, especially because livestock and domestic animals, they don't have long lifetime, because we have them for a short time to grow and then we eat them. But one person, one human going to 70 years old, 80 years old or more, and during this long life, when in the food aflatoxin is present, may it leads to cancer, because this aflatoxin is a known carcinogen. Carcinogen is a mutagenic matter, mutagenic matter, which can be effective on the chromosomes, and sometimes by mutation in the chromosome, cancer is started. Cancer is uncontrolled cell division, uncontrolled cell multiplication of human in any part. There is no difference. It is in the liver, or it is in the brain, or it is in the intestine. Wherever it is present, but most cancers related to the mycotoxins are related to the intestine, because the first point of presence of mycotoxins is intestine, and the second most infected or contaminated part is the liver, because those mycotoxins coming to the blood, in any case, they go through the liver. A known carcinogen with a strict threshold of 20 ppb part per billion in grain and feed, 0.5 part per billion in milk, established by the Food and Drug Administration. So there is not any choice. If we have any lab examination regarding to our blood or regarding to our urine, in any case, in most of us, mycotoxins are present. But it is important, if they are present, their number or their quantity to be as much as possible less. Because if the quantity of mycotoxin in our body is going to be high, can be life-threatening by production of some disorders like cancer. So a known carcinogen with a strict threshold of 20 ppb in grain and feed, 0.5 ppb in milk, established by the Food and Drug Administration. Most common aflatoxins are B1, B2, G1, and G2. The second important mycotoxin is fumonisin. Fumonisin. Produced by what? Produced by Fusarium verticilloides, which previously its name was moniliforme. So for fumonisin is another mycotoxin identified by white to pink salmon colored mold, and it has more problematic, especially for equine or horses. Many diseases can be relative to the presence of this toxin in this animal. Highly correlated to insect damage on corn ears grains. So in corn, Fusarium ear rot, fuminostins, if it is present. Most common fungal disease in corn eras. So mostly this fungus is present in corn and mostly can produce this toxin with the name of fumonisin. Another important toxin is DON or deoxynivalenol. Produced by what? Produced by Gibberella Z or Fusarium graminarum. Identified by pink, reddish mold on the core. And concerning it is more problematic to the animals such as swine, not highly correlated to the insect feeding. Zearalenone or Zen, produced by Fusarium graminarium, also identified by pink mold. Concern to swine also. T2 is one of the most important mycotoxins produced by Fusarium trichioides, identified by primarily white mold, although in some cases it can be appear pink reddish. Concern mostly to poultry, those domestic birds which we have them for eating poultry. But if you ask to give you a name of one of the most important mycotoxin, it is trichotesan. What is that? It is trichotesan. As I told you, it is another mycotoxin. Exhibit potent toxicity in man. So the previous one, mostly they have effectiveness on domestic animals. But this mycotoxin is very effective, especially in human. The numerous target organ system include, okay, we want to know if trichotesan come to our body, which tissues are going to the problem? Brain, immune system, heart, lung, intestine, liver, kidney, and skin. So, as you see, there are several vital parts of the body. So, any problem to the brain, any problem to the immune system, any problem to heart or lung, and liver and kidney, only problem to one of them can be life-threatening. Only problem to one of them can the patient go to die. But this toxin can be effective on brain, immune system, heart, lung, intestine, liver, kidney, skin. So it is very dangerous. Trichotesan is a very dangerous mycotoxin. The mixture of compounds produced by molds have considerable toxicological significance. Yes, I told you that this toxin is very important, and most fungi not producing only one secondary metabolite. Sometimes they can produce a mixture of poisonous substances which synergistically can be effective on our body cells. Over 500 volatile organic compounds, VOC, have been described from fungi. 500 volatile organic compounds, like ethanol, which itself is a potent synergizer of many toxins. So when one fungi produces a toxin accompanied with ethanol, ethanol makes the power of the toxin more greater. Make it more greater. The commonest of the aspergilli in houses is Aspergillus versicolor. So a few minutes back I told you that those people which they are living in a place which it is humid and warm. So humid and warm place is good situation for growth of fungi. And sometimes when the door of the apartment or the door of home of these people is opened, you can smell the fungi. So these people should clean their homes more than what the other people do it in dried and cold places. Because I told you these toxins not only come to our body by food, from foodborne route, but also they can come to our body by smelling. So one person living in a home full of fungi, so many toxins daily come to the lung, and lung is a vital part and it is very important. On the other hand, not only by the lung, they go absorbing to the blood and going everywhere, and they can make the problems greater than the patient can suffer it by going to the physician and by using medicine. Sometimes is not sufficient and person go to die. Probably the most hazardous mycotoxins likely to be involved are the aflatoxin produced by Aspergillus flavus and parasiticus. These carcinogenic toxins have been implicated in cancer. Cancer of what? Those people mostly mycotoxins are present in their bodies, especially aflatoxin. They can go through cancer. Which cancers? Cancer of the kidney, cancer of the esophagus, cancer of the liver, and some with a 10-year latency period. So one person which inside her or his body, these toxins as a mutanogen effect on the chromosome. After 10 years, understand he has cancer. Testicular cancer and many other cancers are coming by these mycotoxins. And mostly people, when understand they have cancer, they don't realize how cancer come to their body. Most of the cancers in the people are related to the food. The food which is containing mycotoxins. So when we buy foods, we should try to buy foods from good brand, from good company, which they are under the control, under the monitoring of government. So when there is a box without any brand, it is very cheap, so maybe it is not under the checking, not under the monitoring by government, because people cannot themselves understand mycotoxin is present in the food or not. They don't have any equipment at home and they cannot see. Mycotoxins are so small to see, yes? So it is different cancers which can start by them. Mycotoxins are potent protein, powerful protein synthesis inhibitors. So they stop protein synthesis. And one type of proteins are enzymes. And all catabolism and anabolism are under the control of enzymes. And when there is not production of enzymes, there is not catabolism and anabolism, so there is no life. Who is live and who is not alive? The person with metabolism is alive. The person without metabolism is dead. So one mycotoxin do is stopping protein synthesis, especially stopping enzyme production. Inhibits synthesis of RNA and DNA. So how human cells in necessary time should be double, should go through the multiplication. They cannot. Why? Because mycotoxins inhibit replication of DNA and RNA synthesis. They stop replication and transcription. Cause oxidative stress and mitochondrial directed apoptosis. So mitochondria, according to the presence of toxin, according to the effect of toxin on the different membranes present in the mitochondria, they go through malfunction, not working properly. So without production of ATP, how tissues, how organs, and how human or animal should continue the life? It is impossible, and it can go through life-threatening situation. Mycotoxins sometimes are responsible for severe neurotoxicity. Neurotoxicity means the effect of mycotoxins on nervous system. Sometimes some people have many problems in their nervous system that they don't know why do they suffer these problems. Many neurobehavioral abnormalities are related to the mycotoxins. Impaired balance, color discrimination, visual field performance, decreased verbal recall. Sometimes you see one person after some time, not like before, cannot see properly or cannot talk properly. Okay? So it shows some nervous system of the body malfunction, not working properly. And mostly physician people cannot understand it is related to the mycotoxins coming to the body by contaminated food. Neurological involvement from mold, mycotoxins exposure was evidenced by the abnormal SPECT brain scan result. So as soon as one person understands food has problem and buying food from good places, from good brand is more helpful to lowering the pressure of the mycotoxin on different parts of the body, especially on nervous system. Okay, if you accept, a few minutes we go to the rest. So 12 o'clock we will come back to the new group. So this class now is over and we will come back at 12 o'clock to finish the complete lecture. And next week on Monday we don't have new lecture. Next Monday only we talk about examination, answering the question, and if needed we do some review, something around 20 minutes. Please come back on the new class. So you can leave this lecture, you can leave this class right now, have a rest for 20 minutes. Again, come back 12 o'clock to the new class in done like now. Thank you very much. Goodbye for short time, 20 minutes. Goodbye.